Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you are from the world, from wherever you are in the world. I want to welcome you to Leadership Live Tuesday. Once again, we are live and we are discussing topics relating to leadership. And yeah, welcome everybody. So as usual, please do say hello in the comments. I'd love to see where you're from. I'd love to know where you are in the world right now. Where are you watching from? Tell us that you're watching and say hi to us. It's really, really wonderful to be here as always. And I'm delighted to be talking to you today about a very interesting topic, and that is the topic of thinking like a CEO. We're going to look at what does this mean exactly? What is this topic that I've chosen to talk about today? So I want to say that this topic is an inspiration from a question that I received from one of my listeners. Annie, it's for you. Annie asked, is there a difference between leadership in a small business and leadership in a much larger business? Because I think we tend to associate leadership with large businesses. And these big organizations that have leaders and they have leadership structures or management structures, and we tend to associate leadership with that. But what about small businesses? Does leadership change when it's a small business? And this is actually what we're going to be talking about today, because it's a topic that I hear a lot about, or a question that I get quite often. And often it actually doesn't matter whether you're running a small business or a large business, whether you're working in a huge organization and you're a manager of a team, or whether you're sitting right at the top of the structure of a large organization. It really is important to think like a CEO no matter what. And I'm going to talk a little bit about what do I mean by that? What does it actually mean to think like a CEO, and why is it relevant in different kinds of businesses and in different kinds of structures? And the thing is like this, I'm going to start with a story. So actually, before I start with a story, I would like to ask you to tell me, what do you think are the duties of a CEO? What is different about being a CEO compared to maybe any other duty or title or responsibility within a business? So I'd love to hear that from you. If you have any ideas, what does it mean to be a CEO? What are the duties of a CEO? Please put those in the comments. I'd love to hear and I'd love to address those. So write in the comments what you think it means to think like a CEO, to be a CEO. What are the qualities that you need to use for that? And I will start with a story today. I will talk about an experience that I actually often have with friends, clients, colleagues, and it's a story about a friend of mine who owns her own business. And as we know, when you own your own business, there's a lot that you need to be taking care of. So you start a business because you love doing something. You have a certain skill, you have a passion, you have a strength, and you take that courageous step to go and begin your own business. And you think, what a dream it is to fulfill. And it really is. When you can start your own business, you really are fulfilling a dream. And you think that you will get to spend all your time working on this business. And what a great thing it is to do. And of course it is great. But very quickly you realize that there's much more to it than actually just having all this time to do what you want, to set your hours. You realize a little bit of the myths around running a business. And one of those myths is that you don't actually get to spend the time doing only what you love. The reason that you started the business, you actually have to spend a lot of time doing a whole lot of other things around the business, which have nothing to do with your particular area of passion. So I have this friend who actually happens to be in a catering business. She opened up her business. She was very excited to be running this business, and very quickly she got to experience some of the frustrations of running a business. And she actually said to me, why can't I just focus on doing what I love? I started this business because I love food and I love cooking. I love being a chef, but why can't I just focus on that? Why does having my own business mean that I have to do all these other things that I really don't enjoy doing and I don't even want to do? And the thing with that is that I actually hear this version of the story from many different places. So I've heard it from a friend of mine who actually has her own counseling or therapy business. I hear it from coaches, colleagues of mine. I hear it from people who have more professional qualifications like accountants and lawyers who are running their own business, who really want to focus on doing their own things. And I also hear it from people working in organizations. So whether they're the CEO of the organization or whether they are leading a team or kind of come up in the ranks of the organizational structures, I often hear, I just want to focus on doing what I love. So I used to be an actuary, some of you may know, and I know that some of you, some of my clients are actuaries as well. And I've actually had quite a few people, particularly I'm thinking of actuaries right now because that is kind of coming from my history, who say to me, I just love the modeling. I love the analysis. I love doing what I learned to do. And here I am spending so much time running a business, managing people, thinking about targets, watching expenses, looking at staff. Why does this have to be part of the package? And the truth is that it does have to be part of the package. It is part of it, you know, and it's something that applies everywhere. But if we start to think about our business and we start wearing that hat of the CEO, we can actually realize that balance of doing the things that we love, focusing on the things that brought us to this place, and also how do we manage that aspect of being a CEO, which is a key part of running the business, running a team, working your division, or whatever it is. And I think a great analogy for this that I often use, and this is really part of, if I had to summarize what thinking like a CEO really means, it really comes down to this. If we think of an analogy of a dance floor, so think about the fact you go to a party or you go to a dance club or whatever it is, and you're standing on the dance floor and dancing with your partner, and you're having a great time, enjoying the music, letting the energy of all the dancers really flow into you and really feeling like you're part of the experience. And when you're on the dance floor, you feel it. You feel the beat of the music. You feel the rhythm with your partner or the other people dancing around you. You really feel like you're part of something and you're really absorbed in the experience of it. And then sometimes when we're in that, on the dance floor, in that experience, there are things that we're not aware of. We're not aware of people outside the circle maybe chatting to each other or having a drink or having something to eat. We're not aware of how many people are on the dance floor because we're in the thick of it. We're not aware of if people are dancing in certain formations on the edges of the dance floor. We don't see the whole picture because we only have the view of where we are at on that dance floor. And then there's the analogy of going onto the balcony. Imagine that at this party, you can walk up the stairs, go onto the balcony and watch the dancing from above. And when you go onto the balcony, you see a completely different view. You actually start to notice all those things that I spoke about, people on the periphery, people chatting. What do the formations of the different clusterings of people dancing on the dance floor look like? And what does that create? So that's a very different view and perspective that you get than when you're in the dance floor. And I think as a CEO, you really want to be able to understand and know what the right balance is in terms of when do you sit on or dance on the dance floor, when do you become part of the dancing and you're on the dance floor taking part in the experience that's happening in that moment, and when do you need to step back, go up the stairs and watch the dancing from the balcony so that you can get a bigger and broader perspective. And I think that it doesn't matter whether you're running a small business or whether you're part of an organization or whether you're the CEO of your own company. You really need to understand that critical skill of when do you need to be on the dance floor, when do you need to get involved in the details, and when do you need to step out of that, go onto the balcony, watch the dancing, and make some critical decisions from that vantage point. So if I go back to my story about my friend in the catering business who came and said to me, why can I not just do what I love to do? I actually asked her, I said to her, what is your vision for your business? What is it that you really want? Do you want a passion project? Which is great. I mean, you can then do what you love, focus on that, just, cook, cater, have people eat your food and enjoy from your kitchen, whatever size that may be. Or do you want to be running a business? And this is something that I think sometimes does get lost, that when we are working in a field that is really our passion, we forget that we're running a business. Now, I am going to say here that there are many people who've made the choice to be working in their passion project, and one doesn't exclude the other. It doesn't mean that if you're running a business, you're not running a passion project, or if you're running a passion project, you're not going to run a business. You can combine the two, but then you cannot forget that you are running the business, that you are the CEO of a business, okay? And that gives you that perspective of needing to go between the dance floor and the balcony. You can't spend all your time on the dance floor if you're wanting to run a business. This is where you get to think like a CEO. What is the balance? When do I go off the dance floor? When do I go onto the balcony? So with my friend, I say to her, passion project is fun. There are many people who make the choice to do what they love and focus fully on that. And then there's a limit to where you can get to. There's a limit to your time, there's a limit to your resources, and there's a limit to how much growth you're going to achieve in your business. And that's also okay, because there are many people who decide that that is where they want to get to. This is the amount that they want to be able to work and achieve and earn. And when that gets to that point, you stop, and that's okay. And then you can run your passion project, and you don't need to worry about thinking like a CEO too much. But when you really want to run a business, when you really feel that you've reached the edge of your potential and you want to go that a little bit further, you start yearning for some growth, you start wanting perhaps to be able to take a break and still earn an income. You start wanting to think about how do you put structures in place that make your life a little bit easier so that you're not constantly working, and that you can actually have other things beyond your work, beyond your passion, in terms of lifestyle that you can really enjoy. And when you start yearning for those things, that's when I say it's really time to think like a CEO. Take that perspective and look at how you're building your business and what elements are you bringing in. So when you look at CEO, thinking like a CEO, there are 5 things that we really want to consider. And I'm just looking at the comments here, and I'd love to see more comments. So write down, what are the qualities of CEO? What are the duties of CEO? What do you think it means to think like a CEO in your business? It could also be extended to your life. It could be extended to your community. It could be extended to other areas as well. But we are talking about business today. So what does that mean for you? What does it mean to think like a CEO? I'd love to see in the comments, and I'm not seeing too many comments coming up. So please do share. I don't know, there might be a bug in the system and that I can't see comments. If there are, oh, hold on, I see Ingrid's from the Netherlands. Hello, Ingrid. That's really all I'm seeing right now. Hold on a sec. Maybe I need to scroll. Okay. Not seeing too many comments. Share some comments, guys. Where are you? Where are you? Tell me you're there. Are you there? Is there anyone there? Say hello. Okay. So to really summarize for today, what are the things that when you have decided you're making that step to thinking like a CEO and running a business, point number 1 is go onto that balcony and think, what is the vision for your business? What is it that you want to create in your business? Where do you want to go? What growth are you looking for? Is it growth in terms of income? Is it growth in terms of product, service, branding? Is it the reach that you want to have? I know for some people, they know that they just want to reach a larger audience. They want to build a community around them. So what is it? What is your target, your goal, your vision for your business in terms of where you want to get to? And then when you've determined that, then you really want to ask yourself a few questions and realize some things. So the 5 questions are, what do you want to invest in? What are the things that you need to invest in your business? Because business requires investment. It requires you to take a little risk. It requires you to put in time, money, and resources in order to get to that next level of growth. So you need to ask yourself, what do you want to invest in? The second thing is, what risks are you willing to take? Okay, how much of a risk can you take, and what kind of risks can you take? That's a really critical decision. Third is, who can support you? Who's your team? Who are your advisors? Who are your mentors? Who are the people that you are going to surround yourself with in order to support you and your business? And then how do you build a structure that actually enables you to live the life that you want, to create the lifestyle that you want to create. Because thinking like a CEO and being in a business does not mean that you give up everything for this business. You really want the business to be a part of your life that supports a lifestyle that you want to live. So we don't want to forget about that. So yes, passion projects are good. Passion is good, but we need it to be part of the bigger picture. And I'm leaving this for the final point, but it's actually the most important point, is understanding that you are going to get your results through people. So what I often see is, if I look at those experts like actuaries, accountants, lawyers, engineers, and whoever else, I'm sure I've forgotten, there are many more professional areas of expertise that we can talk about, as subject matter experts who really develop their expertise in a certain area, and they love what they do and they love those aspects, and then they get promoted to a level in an organization where they now have to lead people, and they have to get results through the people that they're leading. And that's a very difficult place to be, because when you're used to getting the results from your own labor, from your own effort, from your own knowledge and skill and experience, you only have yourself to hold accountable. But when you need to rely on your team to produce results, it's much more difficult. And this applies to whether you're an expert in a certain profession, or, of course, an expert in any other area. As I said, my friend in the catering business, graphic design, whatever it is, it's very hard when you own that piece of skill to start handing over and seeing that you are needing to get results through people. So this is something that I often see. But thinking like a CEO means being able to really step back, value your people, and understand that your best results are going to happen when you're able to really hand over. So I'm just going to repeat. What are the things that you need to think of? Think like a business. Set a vision for yourself. Invest in yourself, your team, and your business in terms of the growth that you want to get to and how you want to get there. Know that you're going to get your results through people. Invest in your people. See who are the right people that are going to support you. And here I'm talking about the team of people that work for you, and also the team of advisors that are going to help you to get on your way. So again, CEOs are not so great at asking for help, but that is really part of thinking like a CEO, because now you have to broaden your support network and lead people who will help you to get the results that you want, but who will also help you to hold yourself accountable to get to where you want. Stretch and challenge your thinking. So that asking for help and asking for advice and mentoring. Looking at the bigger picture and being able to get off the dance floor and out of the detail and into the balcony, and looking at what's the bigger picture and what's actually going on, and making decisions based on what you're seeing. And of course, one more important factor is, remember that as a CEO, you hold ownership for your business and for your results, but you can't take anything personally. Nothing is personal here. So whether it's mistakes, failures, successes, they're all great. Mistakes we can learn from, successes we can celebrate and know that that will take us forward, but we can never really take it personally, because we know and understand that there's something here that is separate to ourselves, and that's what we're working on. It's that gift of perspective of being able to step up and say, this is the business and this is what it's doing for us, and we're part of a whole team who is helping us to develop what we need. So if I just touch on leading in times of crisis, and how does thinking like a CEO really help us in times of crisis, it's even more critical when we're facing challenges, when we're facing change, when you're facing difficult situations, to bear this concept in mind, because we need to be able to even more step back and take our perspective and really understand what's going on in front of us. Take it much less personally, look at the bigger picture, make decisions, decide what to invest in, take some risks, and really lean on our people who are going to help us get our results and who are going to support us through the advice that they give us, and mentoring support as well. Setbacks happen, change happens, not everything is within our control, but when we can think like a CEO, adopt that mindset, take a step back and use everything that we have, all our resources, our people, our own strengths and skills, to really take a step forward and get ourselves through and out of the crisis, then we can really help to support our business. Now, in this kind of situation where we're facing at the moment, we really don't know how long this crisis is going to be. And there's a lot of planning and a lot of action and a lot of change and pivoting that needs to happen for our businesses to really be able to weather the storm and last the time. So this is a time to distance yourself from the personal element of this is my business and I really want it to work, and take a step back and try to plan as much as possible. What are the things that I can do now and focus on now, thinking about those factors that I gave you that will help you to think like a CEO and support your business through the crisis. So if you have any questions on thinking like a CEO, leading through crisis, business aspects of the times that we're in, I'd really love to hear from you. I haven't seen many comments coming through, but I would love to hear some comments. So please do share what is one insight that you've gotten from today's Leadership Live Tuesday. I'm so glad, as always, that you've joined me, glad and grateful. Thank you for being here. And we will see you next week. Now, our topic for next week is also an interesting one, something a little bit different. That's going to be rebel or stickler. What are your default habits that you fall into when you feel that you're facing some challenging times and you're in a time of crisis or change? Where do you tend to go, rebel or stickler? And that's going to be the topic for next week. So I really look forward to seeing you there. Join me, same time, same place. Do share what is one thing that you got out of today's Leadership Live Tuesday, Think Like a CEO, and how are you going to start thinking like a CEO? What is one thing that you can do to really start looking at your business like a CEO and doing maybe something a little bit different that will help you to get through the tough times? Wonderful to spend some time with you this afternoon. Stay well, stay healthy and safe, and see you next week.